Thank you. Thank you. You girls look gorgeous. I'm hope you're having a good Friday. Yes, God. Absolutely. So, my name is Megan, and I am the CEO and founder of a holistic health company called Yes God Wellness. And we are especially passionate about womb health, and also just the mind, body, and spirit connection, and allowing ourselves to heal energetically as well as physically externally. And so we're all about not only dealing with the symptoms of womb imbalances, but also the energetic root of womb imbalances. So we take a spiritual approach to healing. Yes, God. Yeah, so honestly, my business was started kind of out of necessity. I was laid off from my job, and I honestly was just kind of looking for a way to pay my rent, pay my bills. And I happened to be in a room with some women who had talked about, they were talking about yoni steaming. And it was something that I had incorporated into my life, and also my teenage daughter and all of my friends and families, because of how amazing my experience was with steaming. I use it for postpartum care after my youngest son was born. I had a pretty traumatic birthing experience, and I found steaming, and it was amazing to, recover from postpartum. Physically, it was amazing, but also, not just for me, but like I had a girlfriend who was dealing with fibroids, and she was able to release all her fibroids through steaming. My daughter was able to regulate her cycles, and it wasn't as painful anymore. So again, it was something that I had kind of always, in my circle of people, I was known as, the weird girl who does like vaginal steaming. Like, as soon as it came up in a conversation, of course, everybody was like, "Oh, Megan does that. Megan can help you with that." And yeah, she asked me about it, and she asked me how much I would charge to give her a yoni steam. And so that's kind of how my business came about. It was really kind of accidental, even though there is no such thing as accident, but it was kind of just destined. It wasn't something that I planned out. I didn't sit down and say, "Oh, I have a business plan. I want to do yoni steams." Even though I really did want to do that, it wasn't something that kind of crossed my mind as a way, as a business. So it kind of just happened naturally, and then it evolved. From there, I began with doing the steams out of my home locally where I was living at the time. And I just kind of got it, opened my Instagram page and started just letting people know, hey, I'm offering yoni steams. This, you can come over and come get steamed. And then became very successful. I got a lot of clientele, and I was able to gather a lot of information through steaming people. I was kind of creating custom blends for people when they would come over. And so what I did after a while was I realized that there were a lot of people, who weren't local to me, who also wanted to experience yoni steaming, and they didn't really know much about it. So I started to educate people on how to steam at home. And I did like a YouTube tutorial that like went viral. It got like 4.5 million views. Yeah, and so that was really good because I got, a lot of exposure. And then I created a product line basically based off of the research that I had done from all of the women who had come, in person to my home to get steam. So I kind of, looked at all of my notes and said, okay, these are kind of the main reasons women steam. They either are trying to conceive, they just had a baby, they have fibroids, they have PCOS, they have endometriosis, they have they have yeast or candida or BV. So they were kind of like certain things that were common, kind of reasons for steaming. And so I formulated my blends, my product line based on what the needs were. And so that's kind of how it all got started. It was kind of accidental, and it turned into something that I would have never imagined at the time.
So, how exactly does a yoga steam work? Like, how is it actually, getting in there and doing its job?
Yeah, that's a great question. So yoni steaming is a form of hydrotherapy. And hydrotherapy is basically healing with water, or curing with water. Can't say healing. The FDA doesn't like that word, but it's treating yourself through water, whether it's cold or hot. And we do it with other things. We use steam. I know for facial care, you use steam to kind of open up the pores, and allow the skin cells to be open. So it's kind of similar actually with yoni steaming. You're actually opening up the mucous membrane inside the vaginal canal and outside as well, and you're allowing the blood vessels to kind of expand to be able to receive the medicinal properties from the herbs that are in the steam. So um, basically you're kind of fast tracking the healing benefits of the herbs into your system, and then you're also right there at the space where the healing is needed, right there at the womb. So we've had amazing testimonials, honestly. Like, sometimes they surprise me. I'm like, huh, really? Wow, that happened. Okay. Yes, God. But I'm on my page, on my highlights, I have several different like testimonials from people who have, been through IVF treatments and they were unsuccessful and they were able to conceive after they started steaming. They've had, really painful irregular periods. They were able to regulate their cycles through steaming, and their cycles are not as uncomfortable now. People have been able to release cysts and fibroids. So yeah, that's basically what it is. And you're elevated over a pot of herbs. So there's tons of different ways you can do that. You can get a special seat to do that. You don't necessarily need that, but that is one way. And a lot of women like to do that to kind of make it a more sacred and kind of ritualistic self-care thing. Just like you go and get your massages, you want to lay on a massage table, you know what I mean? You dedicate that space for that. You could get a massage laying down on the couch or the bed, but it's not the same. It's like it's a certain kind of, you are being intentional about, this is the time that I'm going to come spend and pour into myself with this particular healing technique. So yeah.
What is the hardest formula that you had to formulate, and why?
So out of my herbal blends, I would say, I don't know if I would call it hard, but I definitely had to play around with the herbs, because so it would be my Purify blend, which is specifically for like Candida, yeast, and BV. And I had to kind of play around with that one. And even still, it's still a very strong blend. It's really like, even when I'm mixing it, it's like, you know what I mean? It's very, very potent. One of the herbs that I kind of was playing around with was oregano, because oregano oil is actually very helpful for a lot of different conditions and different ailments. But what I found was that with steaming, it was actually a little bit too strong, and it had kind of like it just gave a reaction a little bit, kind of like it wasn't a burning, but it was like a very sensitive, like it made the steam very sensitive. And I always, I've tested all my formulations out on myself and my friends basically before I really kind of released them and started marketing them. But that one's the one that I kind of, all the other ones were kind of intuitive, because again, I was kind of custom making the blends, and I have an herbology background. So I'm familiar with, what herbs help for certain things. But when it came to that, I wanted to, create something that was strong, but it wasn't going to cause irritation for people. So that one was probably the most time consuming blend to formulate and create.
Yes God University?
Yes God University. Okay. So just like I mentioned in the beginning, when we talk about healing, we talk about pretty much most of the time we're talking about externally, like we're talking about our skin, we're talking about, our womb, even though that's not externally, but it's still like a condition that is, when I say externally, I mean in the flesh. And so with me and kind of the whole basis of Yes God Wellness is obviously it's a spiritual approach. And we believe that, everything does have an energetic root. So, um, for me personally, again, when I came into yoni steaming after I had my youngest daughter, after my kind of traumatic situation, what I realized was that yoni steaming was amazing physically for me, and helped me recover. But even more so than that, and now I don't want to say more importantly, but really it is kind of more importantly than that. Like emotionally, I started to feel better. And so that for me was something that I didn't really expect from yoni steaming. I thought it was just like, get the kitty cat bat in order and you know what I'm saying? Boo, boo, boo. I wasn't really thinking about like, oh, this spiritual experience. And what wound up happening, and I realized this in retrospect, was that, when you steam, first of all, this is the most sacred area on the planet. Like, this is where life comes from. Like, every person walking around on this earth that has ever walked around on this earth physically came from a womb. And so it's a very sacred spiritual body part, an organ. And so what I found when I began to steam was that there was something happening emotionally for me, something I was softening in a way. I was kind of, things were coming out, not necessarily just physically, but emotionally, like suppressed trauma that I had, resentment that I was holding against people was like coming up and out for me. And I was actually given the opportunity to process those things versus just kind of holding on to them and like walking around with these grudges and this, you know what I mean? Like it's difficult to explain, but basically it was a catalyst for me to really start processing a lot of my emotions and doing a lot of what they call the inner work of really kind of taking inventory of yourself, of your heart, of your energy, and identifying parts of yourself that are ready to transform and evolve, and become a better version of you. And so not to say that steaming started me on that journey, but it definitely, once I started steaming, it was like it accelerated that. And so what Yes God University is really a lot of the key concepts that I learned and used to really do a lot of my inner work. I've created courses for them to help other people that are ready to do that work as well and ready to kind of get, kind of hack inner work. They're kind of inner work hacks. That's what Yes God University is. So we have courses on, for example, forgiveness and the power of the imagination and how to stop the cycle of toxic relationships. And again, like pretty much everything that I've experienced myself personally, I share in those courses. So that's what Yes God University is. Yeah.
As a Black business owner, do you feel like from your community of Black, your Black community, you get a lot of support? I know you mentioned your friends and you have tested some of your recipes or your formulas on your friends. Have they supported you from start to finish? What you said?
Yeah, so I don't know about start to finish. I think, like my true friends, they had already steamed because, you know what I mean? They were already like, they got the free stuff when I was just like, hey, try it. You got to try this thing. It's amazing. But yeah, I mean, yes, my friends have been very supportive. They put orders through the website. They're not like, hey, Megan, just send me some herbs. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that I'm really, really grateful and blessed to have friends like that. A lot of my friendships I have have been, 20 plus years, which I know that I'm really, really blessed for that. But yeah, I think that, it's, now and especially in the beginning, I got a lot of support from our community, and it was really amazing to see that. And I am from Rochester, New York, so I'm not from where I live right now. And I got a lot of love, when I a lot of love and a lot of support. And again, Kim was a huge support for me. I've actually kind of been down to the Texas location and did a talk there, and she hooked me up with some products. Like, she was amazing, and we all kind of went to a women's CEO conference together. And so yeah, I've gotten love all over the place. That's the power of technology and the power of social media, and Instagram is like, we can all be connected even when we're in different places. When I was growing up, when I was in my, teens and early mid 20s, like, we didn't have Instagram. You know what I'm saying? We had the internet. It was just starting, but there was no real place like Instagram or TikTok or even Facebook, where it was really like, hey, I'm getting on here and this is what I'm doing, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was none of that. So I'm really grateful to be alive during this time, because I don't think we realize how amazing like this advance in technology is. But yeah, I've gotten a lot of support, so I'm super, super grateful for that.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
What are like, out of everything we talked about today, what are two like really big takeaways that you would like for us to have?
Yeah. So I think the first takeaway is that your health is your responsibility. It's no one else's responsibility. It's not your parents' responsibility. It's not your doctor's responsibility. It's not your partner's responsibility. It is your responsibility. And so that was something that I learned through my traumatic experiences, that at the end of the day, it's not necessarily about, quote unquote, fixing things when they go wrong. And not to say that doesn't happen, but it's more so about living a healthy lifestyle so that things don't go wrong. Or, we can try to prevent things from going wrong as much as possible. Of course, there's certain health concerns that really, we don't really have control over. But for the most part, I think, and this is going to tie into my second takeaway, forgiveness is more powerful than any product. Okay. So like, it's more powerful than any diet you could be on. It's more powerful than any product you can use. And I don't think people really understand that. They hear it and they're like, oh yeah, I forgave you, that person. And it's like, no, you're not. Like, the thing is, because when we hold on to resentment and unforgiveness, it actually creates a blockage in our body that then, once it stays there for so long, it turns into a physical thing. It turns into a physical kind of diagnosis. And so I think that those would be my two main takeaways, is that, you have to take your health into your own hands. You have to take responsibility for your own life. Wherever you are in life is because of the decisions that you have made, period, point blank. And a lot of people, they're resistant to that idea. They feel like, oh, but this and that, and I've been set up, and the society is not meant for me. And that's like, in this day and age, in 2021, again, we have the internet, we have different resources than we've ever had before. You have to take responsibility for yourself. You can't blame anyone else. And then, so again, the second one is just forgiveness is one of the most powerful tools that you can use to heal yourself. And that is kind of the basis of what a lot of the Yes God University is about, is really about kind of dealing with that side of life and dealing with that energy, and really kind of empowering yourself to take responsibility for yourself. Actually, on June 6th, which is Sunday, I'm going to be doing a virtual session, and we're going to be diving into femininity, and we're going to be talking about, kind of the over masculinization of women, especially Black women, and how we have really kind of been raised to think that being strong and independent and taking care of everything is noble and honorable, and how that has, that's affected our men because, we take away opportunities for men to really step up to the plate in a lot of ways by doing that. And so I won't go too deep on that, but I just wanted to throw that out there. That's the kind of, that's where I am in my own personal journey right now, just looking at observing myself and my own energy. And that's kind of what Yes God Wellness is about. It's really just, my kind of blueprint for how I've navigated through life, how I've evolved to where I am right now, and then helping other people do the same thing. And by no means have I arrived, or I'm, you know what I mean? I don't think there's any such thing as being arrived, but I think there is such thing as taking initiative to make yourself the best that you can be, instead of just kind of letting life happen by default and just reacting to it. I think that we have a lot more input on our life than we may feel that we do. Okay. It's so we have so much power. I'll just say this: as women, we have all the power right here. Like this what Yes God Wellness is about is that's power. The womb is equal to power, and so we don't need to do all that. All the things that we do and all the things that we feel we have to constantly be doing and hustling and struggling and doing and going through stuff, and it's more about boundaries. It's more so about being silent than it is about telling people how we feel and how it is, and like that doesn't do anything but stress you out, stress them out, not get anything done, and cause that, look, again, those emotions to start to get trapped inside of you, versus starting to tap into that feminine power of understanding I am the prize, period. So when I understand and truly know that I'm the prize, I act accordingly. And when I act accordingly, people treat me accordingly. So you can get people to do what you want them to do, but it starts right here. It doesn't start with telling them what to do or telling them what not to do. It starts with you taking accountability, taking responsibility, and saying, I'm no longer available to engage in whatever, fill in the blank, whatever it is. But yeah, we're gonna dive in that session. It's gonna be really good. Yeah, it's gonna be good. No, I was just saying it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I actually did a YouTube video. I'm on YouTube, Yes God Wellness on YouTube, and I did a video last week or the week before, entitled From Hood Chick to Feminine Goddess, and just kind of talked about, a lot of the things that we're going to be covering. But in the session, we're going to be like personalizing it. We're going to kind of go through each participant and really talk about, personal things, because we've all had our own experiences. We've become overly masculine from a number of things, whether it was our environment, whether it was our upbringing, whether it was traumatic experiences we've had, just feeling like we need to protect and provide for ourselves. And so we've kind of become unbalanced in that now in society. And that's why you see so many, Black women out here just killing it, like really, really killing it. And not to say that there's a lot of Black men out here killing it too. But if you notice, there's a disproportion in Black marriages. Because the thing is like, we need that masculine energy in business and entrepreneurship and corporate, and to be successful in money. Like money is a masculine energy in and of itself. But when we're in relationship, romantic, or, you know, and a type of love relationship, we have to learn how to navigate that. And it can't be that same energy of go, 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 do, I'm in control, I run this. You know what I'm saying? Because that by default emasculates our partners. So I'll get off that tangent because I could go on and on and on about that. But if you're interested, go ahead and check out my YouTube channel. I did a video on it. Like I said, it's like my most recent video. And it's really insightful. The number one thing that I would say to start to learn how to become more feminine is just to be quiet. Learn how to just not talk as much. Because what was the saying? Maybe there was seen and not heard. Exactly. Allow yourself to speak with your actions. Speak with what you engage in. Speak with what you don't engage in. You know, allow people to see and feel versus telling, because, you know, the loudest person is in the room usually knows the least. And so that goes for even if it's a room with just you and your partner in it. You know what I mean? The person that is talking the most, I'll put it this way, the person who is talking the least is in control. So I'll leave it at that. That was a word. Okay, so let's regroup. That was a group. Okay, so I'll have to come back and watch the slide. So with all of that goodness, what can we expect from you this June 27th at our big city? Yeah, I'm so excited about this. You can just expect, I mean, I'm going to be there. I'm going to have my husband with me. I'm going to have my little baby with me. She'll be almost 7 months at that point, and I'm going to have my products. And I'm going to just be there to kind of share my experience. And if people have questions about steaming or how they can do it or what type of herbs they need, I'll be there to explain all of that. I will have, again, my herbal blends, and I have a feminine wash that I'll have as well. And I have a tea that I make. I'll be selling that. So yeah, I will have kind of my goodies, and I'm looking forward to kind of just being in community with everyone and really honoring Kim and the legacy that she's built. I'm so honored to be a part of it. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to come down to Atlanta. I'm a foodie, so I'm like, I can't get. I'm trying. I'm so excited about going to Raw Tassili's and getting like a punani wrap. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. Yeah, of course. So I'm Yes God Wellness on almost all platforms. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm on YouTube. And so those are the primary four. And I'm just, you know, that's where I am. And my website is yesgodwellness.com. And if you are interested in Yes God University, on my website under Yes God University, you'll see my digital courses. So there's a kind of a vault of courses that's available for you to check out and see if any of them resonate with you. And it's really, really worth it. And my recommendation is to actually watch the course while you're steaming. I think that's kind of how I would prefer that people, you know, consume the content. I mean, you can do it whenever you want, but I just think it's powerful to do things intentionally and to kind of say, you know, this is a time that I've carved out this hour. I'm going to steam. I'm going to take in this, you know, I'm going to open my mind. I'm going to, you know, be open-minded to think about things in a different way. So yeah, but Yes God Wellness everywhere. Yes, we love it. Let me make sure we got everything. Yeah, we did. Let's see. Yeah. What is it? Do we have any last minute questions now? Let me see.
I think those are people chiming in.
I think someone asked, how long do you steam for? So, I guess, so I don't know if you mean like how long should you steam? I mean, I think steaming should be forever, but as far as a steam session, it's usually between 35 to 45 minutes per steam.
Okay. What is it? Nikki Baby said, how often does someone have to steam to see results?
Yeah, so that really depends on what you're steaming for. So really the question that I would respond with is what type of results? If you have fibroids or PCOS or endometriosis, you're going to want to be steaming more frequently, at least 2 to 3 times per week. If you're just steaming for self-care, it's, between once and twice a month. And so I actually have a cheat sheet. If you go to my website and just sign up and you kind of give us your email, you'll receive email that has all that information, and it has an actual guide to show you, okay, if you're dealing with this is how often you should steam. Also, in the link of my bio on Instagram, there's a free tool that you can just go in and kind of answer questions about exactly what's going on with you and your womb health. And it'll give you a recommendation immediately of how often you should be steaming and with what blends.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what is it? Queen G 1891 said, I'm glad I caught this. I have to resume my steaming very soon.
That's my homegirl. That's my friend Rakia. She's the one who actually released all those fibroids from her womb when I told her about it before I even started my business. So I've known her for a really long time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my girl.
Well, shout out to her.
Uh-huh.
What is it? Sorry if I butcher your name. Is Tanjan Tatan said, real talk, my mom left this life due to unforgiveness. It led to anger, which led to disease, which led to death. Well, I'm sorry for your loss, sweetheart. Our condolences go out to you.
Yeah.
B_A_blessing to me said, I love this great conversation.
Yes, God.
What is it? Tanjan Tatan said, you teach people how to treat you. It is a matter of self-esteem. I am still learning this. It is a big deal, can be detrimental.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's really true. And that's why I said, like I said, we focus on womb, but we also go deeper than that. And we look at why are we having these issues in our womb? What's going on in our heart that is creating, these issues, not in just our womb, but in repetitive patterns that we keep seeing and situations that we keep finding ourselves in. What's the root of that? So that's what Yes God University is all about, kind of healing that root.
What is it? Individual request said, what if you're about to start menopause?
If you're about to start menopause, steaming is actually really great because it can also help with hormonal balance. And menopause is kind of the period where your hormones are changing and your menstrual cycles kind of are going away, and that kind of signifies the end of your fertility. So I'm going to be posting all next week about the cycles, because there's 2 different cycles. When people say their cycle, they automatically think about a period, but there's actually a whole cycle that happens. You're always in a cycle, no matter what point of the month it is. And so there's a uterine cycle that's happening, and then there's also an ovarian cycle that happens. So those are 2 kind of different physiological processes that happen kind of simultaneously. They work together. But both of those are the catalyst for those cycles is different hormones. And so when those hormones change, that signifies kind of, again, the end of fertility and moving into menopause. I do have a blend for menopause. It's the Refresh blend, and it's really great for balancing hormones and also libido and dryness, which are some of the complaints that come along with experiencing menopause. I haven't personally gone through menopause yet, but I will be steaming my way through it when it comes.
Yeah, we got like 2 more, I believe.
I'm like, okay. So you must have streamed this somewhere else too, because I'm like, where is she seeing these questions? Or maybe it was before me. Maybe it was before I got on.
No, they put it in like our questions, but it was
okay.
the same people.
Okay, got it.
In regards to menopause.
Got it.
But that was it, though. I believe that's all the questions we have.
Okay.
Greg, anything else you want to mention? just go to the website, onlinebar.com, and purchase there for the banner. We're also going to leave all of our information in the description below. So if you're watching this after we posted it, all of our information is going to be down below. So you can further connect with Miss Megan. Do you have any last minute words for us?
I would just say, yes, God for me is based in gratitude. It's all about acknowledging God in everything, and it's really a really easy way to determine, your boundaries. If you're not saying yes, God about something, if you don't have that response, the response should be no, God. We shouldn't be doing things just because we don't want to make anybody angry or feel, you know what I mean? It should always be. And it sounds selfish, and it sometimes feels selfish because people will try to make you think that you're being selfish if you have a boundary about something. But really, when you're honoring yourself, you're honoring God. And so, yes, God, I just leave it on that note.
I love that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yes, God.
We thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
It's always a pleasure.
Yes, God.
Soon,
okay. All right. Y'all have a good weekend, and I'll see you soon in Atlanta.
Thank you, you too.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye.
Oh, also, guys, don't forget that we're having a 20% off sale.